congressional hearing, private, by the way, was not a public congressional hearing. Hunter Biden, among many other things, we're just going to highlight something, which is the fact that he was admitting that he put his father, they denied that so many times, both of them, father and son.
Never.
Never happened. We never participated. If I was passing by, it was by accident. It was never intended to. Now he's saying he put his father, meaning that shows intention. I intentionally invited him to the meetings. Now it's not just a phone call. Now it's just a passing by, but he invited him to the meetings, but denies involvement. How do you reconcile that statement where you're trying to separate, but at the same time, you're describing something that only shows participation?
So the answer is simple. When you lie, right, there's no way for it to make sense about you telling the truth. That's it. So obviously, Biden is lying. Hunter is lying. And the problem is that I'm not surprised with any of the things that he does at this point. But he's showing us that you're allowed to be a gangster, as long as your dad is the president, and there's going to be very few things that, think people could do to stop you. So I don't know if I would do anything different if my dad was the president.
I'll be cooked up, drawing shit,
making a bunch of money. I'll be talking,
selling my art.
I'll become a painter overnight.
But like I said, that's why it's unfortunate. But we don't think about it, even though we do think about it. Once you become president, it's not just for you. Everyone who's in your immediate family, think about it. It's usually the family moves into the White House, not just you by yourself, and everybody else is doing their own thing. So it's something that we got to pay attention to more as far as whose family is in power, not just which person is in power. Because all these things can and will make a difference. The fact that they're lying about it just sounds ridiculous. Unless you disown this kid from years ago, we know he has to be.
And it does matter who's the family in power, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. But a lot of the times we're not thinking about. Yeah. Oh no! Wait a minute.
The Rothschild family.
So we got to pay attention to all those things.
So here's the way that I look at it. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he was just kind of hanging out at these meetings. Forget about the person, because I don't know how much influence we will have. But it's just the position.
He showed up for the ice cream. Is that
yeah. Let's just say he showed up for the ice cream. Okay. Do you think any business meeting will have a different outcome just because the dude in the position walked in? Of course he's going to have. So it's just by default. It's just that. Let's give the benefit of the doubt that there was zero involvement. That's BS. Because just by showing up there.
Correct.
What's the rule that we say? Not making a decision is making a decision.
I get you. Yeah.
Same thing. Just showing up there, it is.
You got to know you're the president. And even if you
or
pick up
vice
the phone,
president, whenever this whole thing was going
Correct.
on.
So you got to know. I get you.
The fact of the matter is that let's go back to the issue of the money. You know what I mean? It's just that there's so many things that I'm not talking about small amounts. I'm talking about $300,000, $500,000, $600,000, $1 million. What they don't have a way to, it's like if I sell you this table, right? If you cut me a check for $200-$300, I have a way to explain it. Hey, no, I sold them this little table, and you cut me a check for. They took large amounts of money, and they don't have a way to explain what kind of service, what is it that they did to earn that money, right? And just to even say consulting is not enough. Here's the one thing that I want you to keep in mind. I wish this was a public conversation, not a private conversation, because I think that people need to know how much of a whistle this guy, this kid is. And I understand what you're saying. If my father was, and I don't think that's the case for everybody. I know that, we joke around about it. How far can you take it? I don't know. Maybe I would be happy to know that I didn't get a ticket. You know what I mean? I was spinning and you're the president's son. You know what I mean? But to say that we know for a fact that not every family that has been there has, if anything, history tells us that we had people that came out of the White House broke, completely broke. That we actually, one of the reasons why we have to raise the salary for a president was because some of them were coming out of it it was not the way it has evolved into, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like the next guy coming in is like, okay, I'm going in with $200 in my account. I should be coming out with about 200 million, right? Or immediately after, like in the case of Obama, it's not like he came out with all these millions, but by the time he came out, it was already lined up. It's like $80 million here, $20 million there, to all of those things, and that is because there is public interest, right? If you can sell something and somebody's willing to pay for it, but are they buying your public persona and the interest that everybody has, or are they buying the access that you still have to that political environment, which is a problem. Again, we're talking about it,
Influence.
they're talking about the issue of lobbyists and how they take advantage of these things. But I hope that it gets to the point where it becomes public, because people need to see, how they want to play around with all this information and the questions. With that
Can I
being
tell you,
said,
most people are not paying attention, though, to be honest with you. Like,
Well-
if it were public or if it were not, there's many people that is like they make media does a phenomenal job making people that are just trying to find out what is happening. Let's not call it truth. Let's just say what is happening. I'm just doing. I'm just questioning things. It's like if you bring up the Hunter Biden laptop. That is like you are a conspiracy theorist, like what is it, ting hat wearing person, and it's like no, you're just asking a question of what if,
Yeah, but and I agree with you. You know what I mean. But again, just think about also in general the level of trust with the traditional media. It continues to decline. It's not just they haven't hit rock bottom. You know what I mean? It's like to be able to say, look, it already went from this to get to the point. Still dropping. People are saying we just don't believe you anymore. We like watching the show. We like you, but I don't believe anything that's coming out of your mouth. You know what I mean? And then they are addressing this. Because this truly has the ability to become an issue for the whole Biden family. This is so they didn't show up to Congress because they wanted to have this conversation.
Right.
At this point, it was about to borderline. People were about to start getting arrested. And by the way, that possibility still
on the table.
remains on the table.
Well, and it
even
makes sense
after
that this thing is happening exactly at the time that Biden's like, let me just go to the border.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
And I scream at the border
creating
'cause
different
it's like-
distractions, but pay attention to everything that's taking place
Yeah.
right now, and you're gonna realize that
Gonna check for
they
something.
are addressing an issue.
Yeah.
They can have a potential impact with the election,
No,
right?
absolutely.
And this is definitely one of them.